Located on a bleak, waterless plain 20 kilometers from Jalalabad, the district capital of Nangarhar province in eastern Afghanistan, is a camp filled with 120,000 refugees called Hasar Shahi. Most of the refugees who live in the desert at Hasar Shahi fled Kabul in January 1994 with very few belongings after their homes were destroyed by rockets that were fired by their president and prime minister during their private war against each other for control of Kabul, Afghanistan's capital. As fighting continues in Kabul, the refugees wait beneath tents where summertime temperatures soar each day to over 43 degrees centigrade. The Nangarhar provincial government chose this desolate location to create a safe haven for the refugees without considering how inappropriate the location was for human habitation. Shallow wells, for example, cannot be drilled here because the water table is so deep. Nevertheless, the United Nations accepted the government's site and began to develop the camp. Although Hasar Shahi camp was established 7 months ago in February 1994, not one well has successfully been drilled there. 3 attempts to drill wells have been made. The first well was abandoned after it failed to yield water at a depth of 100 meters. 2 other tube wells are presently being drilled, but the percussion rigs at these sites are having difficulties breaking through the dense bedrock found there. Expectations are low that these wells will ever yield water. ECHO, an agency created by the European Community to respond to emergencies in less developed countries around the world, agreed to finance Madera's proposal to supply water and tents to refugees living in Hasar Shahi.
This action is part of a contribution from ECHO which was allocated in March in favor of the displaced in Kabul and Jalalabad. It is also the fact that we are working with Madera for this action is the result of several years of work together between the European Commission on a rural rehabilitation project. And it's because of the presence of Madera in this area and the sound knowledge of the local conditions there that we have been able, that Madera is in this good position to support the people in Hasar Shahi.
So I want to thank everybody here taking part in this activity, the UN staff people, Madera people who are organizing this loading and shift of tents to Hasar Shahi. We know that the needs over there are enormous. We do our best to, with the support of ECHO, to give some relief to these people, mainly with the water supply. We now distribute 1 million liters a day with 25 trucks. We are also supported in this activity by ECHO. And we hope mainly that this situation won't be too long. Many things don't depend on us, of course. It depends on the Kabul situation, and we hope that the sooner the better peace will come back over there in Kabul.
Madera is a European NGO that implements rehabilitation and rural development projects in Kunar, Lagman, Nangarhar, and Wardak provinces of Afghanistan. Madera sought financing to assist the refugees in Hasar Shahi after one of its Afghan directors decided he could not ignore the sufferings of his fellow citizens as he drove past the newly formed camp on his way to supervise Madera's development projects. He saw that the refugees' water supply was irregular and the quantities of water low, never more than 7 liters per day. Madera's director responded to the emergency by transferring personnel from other projects so that they could organize and manage a small fleet of tankers whose operating costs were first funded by UNICEF. As Hasar Shahi camp grew, a further expansion of operations became necessary. A funding request to ECHO was made and accepted on March 20, 1994. With these new funds, Madera was able to expand its fleet of tankers to 31. Madera also received funds from ECHO for the manufacture of 3,000 tents and tarpaulins for those refugees at Hasar Shahi who were living under plastic sheets on bare ground. Madera had the tents manufactured in Lahore, Pakistan, and UNHCR distributed them throughout 8 blocks of the camp, thus providing shelter to nearly 23,000 people. Madera's 31 water tankers have a total capacity of 354,000 liters. They fill 40 reservoirs spread throughout the camp that range in capacity from 10,000 to 95,000 liters. The total capacity of the water reservoirs in the camp is 935,000 liters. Madera transports over 1,700,000 liters to the camp daily, enough water to provide each of the 120,000 refugees with an average of 14.5 liters of water per day. Madera is the sole agency providing water to Hasar Shahi camp. "22 of the trucks in Madera's fleet are Russian-made Kamas tankers that Madera restored locally. Madera was able to gain access to these tankers because it has worked 6 years in Afghanistan and has a good relationship with the provincial government. The Kamas tankers sat unused for over 1.5 years at Farm Hadar, a former Russian agriculture and animal husbandry center close to Jalalabad. Madera purchased over 200 tires for these tankers and made numerous repairs to them, from complete engine overhauls to rebuilt diesel pumps, replaced clutch plates, brakes, etc. Parts are scarce since Kamas trucks are no longer manufactured in Afghanistan. A local mechanic and a staff of small children have performed miracles on Madera's fleet of Kamas trucks and kept them running despite all their mechanical breakdowns. Madera also operates 4 ancient Hino tankers donated by UNHCR, whose parts are unavailable in Afghanistan and almost impossible to find in Pakistan. Madera also received 3 man tankers manufactured in Germany that were captured from the Iraqis during the Gulf War by the United States, which were then donated to NGOs in Pakistan, who later donated them to Madera's Hasar Shahi operation. Parts for these tankers are completely unavailable on the commercial market in Afghanistan and Pakistan. In addition, the French government donated 1 tanker. In order to make Madera's fleet of tankers more dependable, additional trucks whose spare parts are available in Pakistan, just 3.5 hours away, must be purchased for the water supply program. The people in the camp survive on less than 15 liters of water per day. The refugees use this water for washing and drinking. They even use this water to build houses. Madera fills the reservoirs throughout the camp an average of 5 times per day. Tap frames at these reservoirs are used separately by men and women. Life without a plentiful supply of water is difficult for the refugees, but thanks to Madera's staff of drivers, many of whom stay at the parking site each night and begin delivering water at 4:30 a.m. each day, there is at least enough water for the refugees to survive. As the camp population grows, Madera will need to acquire more tankers to meet the increased demand for water. There are 3 tube wells that furnish water to Hasar Shahi camp, and they are all located over 7 kilometers from the camp. 2 tube wells at Semerkel military base provide 80% of the water for Hasar Shahi camp, and the other tube well at Farm 2 provides the remaining 20% of the water to Hasar Shahi. Due to the shortage of pumping sites, Madera's trucks must wait in long lines to fill their tanks at the military base. ICRC also depends on the tube wells at the military base to provide water to another refugee camp, which decreases further the water supply available for the refugees at Hasar Shahi. It is of utmost importance that other sources of water be developed in order to increase the supply of water to the refugees living in Hasar Shahi. Madera maintains and provides the fuel for the generator and tractor motor that run the pumps at the water sources. To operate the water tankers and to run the water pumps, Madera purchases over 20,000 liters of diesel a week. Including all expenditures, it costs Madera approximately $1 for every 1,000 liters it transports to Hasar Shahi camp. The refugees are in a precarious situation. If the wells at Semerkel go dry, the refugees will have to move again. But where will they go? The gate at the Pakistan border is closed to them, and Kabul is still in the throes of war. Hasar Shahi is a city of tents and limbo, situated in a place where no one has ever lived. It is unknown how long this tent city will depend on water transported by Madera's water tankers. It may be for the life of the camp, since the development of central water supply system is remote. Hopefully, the political conflict in Afghanistan will be resolved, and the refugees will return to their homes, and Madera's tankers will begin hauling diesel needed for the country's reconstruction. However, the prospect of peace is doubtful, since the warring factions in Afghanistan have been fighting each other for over 2 years, ever since the fall of the Soviet-backed government of President Dr. Najibullah in 1992.